once again, I appreciate your attention. This week we don't have a podcast, so we are going to take a minute to look at the inked pages of Spirit Girl. And I'll be making commentary, and if you have questions or comments, leave them down below. And this is for Spirit Girl 4. It's the last chapter of the first Spirit Girl story. So very exciting. I learned a lot, and this is the culmination of that learning process and those years of daily practice. So this page I made in diagonal. It's a bit of a cheat to place the giant character taller than the protagonist, which is Spirit Girl, the titular hero, our rural superhero Spirit Girl. And establishes the conflict and establishes the dynamic. He's in a position of power, but she's accusing him. So it's a way to play with those lines. And then this empty spot is where I'm going to put like the story so far. In each book, excuse me, I put a recap of the story so far. This book here, the DC Comics Guide to Writing Comics by Dennis O'Neil. There's a whole section on how it's important to open on conflicts, open on tension. So he explains the different types of hooks. Here's the example, and he says your page 1 and your page 2 at most should have your conflict established. And I wanted to do that. So we open on the conflict and direct to action. And we're saying something about the titular character here. She's spontaneous, possibly impetuous, possibly impulsive. She's got a choleric character. She goes straight away, no questions asked. Here in Photoshop, I'm going to grab this figure and blow it up a bit. The proportions aren't quite right. And I'm going to be adding speed lines and screen tones and stuff. So this is just the inks. That's for page 1. So I started this May 19, and I was able to finish in one day, which is a couple hours, because I can put a couple hours a day in this. Action here, we're establishing that she can't really just jump into it because he's got some fight back in him. I didn't finish the inks here because this I light boxed, so you can see here maybe in the camera. This panel here I cut and pasted off another paper, so I built the light box. I have a video for that on my Substack and on my YouTube channel on how I built a light box. And I light boxed, so I drew this panel and then I light boxed it in pencil. So I penciled this one, I light boxed it because I wanted these two beats effects, just same posture, expression change, because the big giant wolf shows up. And I got tired of the inking, so I am going to simply, because it's the same panel in Photoshop, just copy paste the inks. Why didn't I just copy paste in Photoshop? Well, first I wanted to go through the process of learning how to do a light box and learning light boxing. And the process of going through that, you learn things, right? And I want to control the expression too. So just going through it, the muscle memory, the repetition, it's useful as opposed to just clipping it digitally. So maybe next time I would clip it digitally, but then I would have to draw in, the different expressions, and so I'm dedicated to working with my hand here, so I just stuck with it. Here's a bit of a reference to the movie Alien. And there's this thing I've been doing is adding double space for the horizontal panels. I forgot to do it here, so it's okay. I might fix it in Photoshop, I might not, I don't know. But it separates the horizontal bands of graphics. So you'll see the effect better in another page. Here's another page. I did the lettering by hand here because I don't have a font for the CAL language. CAL language, I should say. A little bit of experimenting with charcoal to express like pain or not sure if that was a successful experiment, but it's going in. I think I may change it in Photoshop. I don't know. I just realized here some texture missing on the I will be going through all of this again and seeing if there's inks I can pump up a little bit. But so here you can tell the horizontal gutters are wider, so it really separates this band of panels from this band of panels. So you got a mini story here and then a mini story here. And I'm trying to experiment with a little bit pushing towards the comic strip format, because I'm considering making future issues a weekly strip, but we'll see. I like how this expression turned out here, and I do like this panel here. It's not a perfect panel, but with the embedded sound effect, this whole page I think turned out pretty good. So here we're establishing that that's it. They're kind of stuck as prisoners of this villain Stormhand. He's a little too much to handle now, and they can't just punch their way out. At least Spirit Girl can't. So we start to see the this non-superpowered characters, his value in the story and his strength. This story, a lot of it is Ranger Dave's story, as much as it is Spirit Girl's story. He points here. Why does he point to the power lines? Well, you'll have to read the book to find out. This is a page that people comment on as being a really good page, and I agree. I think it turned out really good. Some of my best drafting to date. It just turned out good. This layout I got from a Dave Sim Cerebus comic. thought it was a cool layout. And the vertical panels like this are kind of reminiscent of prison bars, and they are decidedly imprisoned at this point in the story. They are enslaved to chains. Always the crows, eh? But why? But why? Why always the crows? And so Stormhand deems it necessary to rest on their hike. Really enjoying how the trees came out here in the background. It looks pretty good on the screen. I'm checking the preview here, but really in the hand, as it's meant to be, this turns out really nice. Deep black evil eyes, eh? So, yeah, more Stormhand asserting his dominance. Once again, a reminder, a lot of Photoshop work will go into this. Screen tones, speed lines, and colors. I am going to experiment with colors this time around. So the shading, the rendering is in there, but I'm going to be doing shading with color as well, is the plan. We'll see how it goes. I haven't colored a comic before. So they arrive at destination here at the power lines. This whole sequence here will be flipped, so I drew in this whole thing, and then I realized I didn't compose it the way that I should have. I should have composed it because his patch is on that eye, is on the left eye. So in Spirit Girl 2, Ranger Dave stabbed this wolf in the eye to defend himself. And so he came back wearing a patch, which Stormhand presumably put on him. But that's the wrong eye, right? But I really like the way that it turned out, and I only realized after I inked the whole thing. So I did some rejigging, I added a panel here, and so I'm going to grab this whole thing and flip it. It says, I put a note here, flip horizontal. I think it'll also read better. And this panel here as well, I'm going to swap these. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense. And this whole thing, I think I drew a little small, but that's okay. I'm going to grab this whole thing and then blow it up a bit. Again, most of the work on the page, but we're tweaking it digitally. Someday I might work digitally, but I don't know. No plans yet. I'm having a good time here. So this panel, I didn't do any rendering yet. It's an important page because this page is going to be the cover. I'm going to grab this and turn it into a cover with the sound effect in the back. So I'm going to scan this page as is and then do my pen rendering. And if I'm not happy with my rendering, I have, an unrendered page to work with that I can either print out and render again or render digitally using color and tones and so forth. We'll see. This is a fun page, borderless. This is something I've seen a J.H. Williams III do a lot, using graphic illustrative elements to create borders. So here we have his magical smoke ribbons, whatever they are, creating segmenting the page into sections. A bit of a bare page, but I am going to do some background work in Photoshop for this page here. Mostly just exists to express, the movement, the speed, the intensity. Yes. So I drew, again, an extra panel here because I realized there was a narrative issue, a narrative problem. So that panel is going to go here. So I'm going to grab this, move it over here. The panel's going to go here. Experimenting with a bit of a different inking technique here with a chisel tip marker. This is my time to experiment. They're my books. I'm not beholden to an employer or anything, or a writer who's expecting a certain result. I can just play around with different techniques, and if there's some inconsistency in the look, it's it doesn't matter. I'm learning, right? And double page spread. I have mixed feelings about the double page spread. I mean, it feels like sometimes like it needs to happen, but definitely it's something you can't really do in strips, can you? I don't know. What do you think of the double page spread? Do you have thoughts and opinions about the double page spread? Here Stormhand is there's an escalation of power, right? We learn like, oh, okay, he doesn't just have a magical spell book. He has innate sorceress power. And here he creates a storm, which is bad news for our rural superhero, Spirit Girl. And here, just for fun, I wanted to show inside the tornado. Try to be more immersive. To see like, oh, what's going on inside the tornado. And in here, if I want to, so it's a jumble, right, narratively, in terms of sequence, which is what would happen in a tornado. But there is a sequence of events. She gets hit by a log, grabs the log and escapes, right? So I could, clarify that with word balloons, right? We could have word balloons kind of going this way. I'll see, right? Here's a good page. I thought this page was good. It's a bit of a gruesome, brutal page. The whole idea is that Spirit Girl is our superpowered hero, but she's new in her career, right? So far she's just been on patrol, for fire watch and rescue, search and rescue and so forth, right? So, helping people remove a boulder from, a farm field, like that sort of thing. So this is a whole other level for her. And so she is, but he was forged in violence if you read issue 3. So this is familiar terrain for him. Put Ryan Ottley, wear and tear on the character. Ottley does that. Just little lines here and there to express that the character's a little banged up. This is something I got from a Suicide Squad comic. I forget the name of the artist. The birch trees. How to do birch trees. It's just horizontal lines like that. I like drawing trees. Here's another page I think turned out good. You know, again, Stormhand is getting the upper hand, and Spirit Girl can only do so much, right? So I think this is a good page because it ends on a question, right? Oh, he's getting a gun. I thought that. So Stormhand did take his shotgun, and he's got him on his belt there. So what's he got here? Oh, I'll go get that other page. This is the page I'm working on here. I did ink another page. I'll be right back. So, spoiler alert. You know, the heroes win. But here's specifically part, you know, an important thing that happens when they win. And this is not the big spoiler. This is just how they win. There's a bigger spoiler later, but I haven't inked it, so I'm not showing it anyway. Yeah, so what he's shooting here is a flare launcher. So I shoots that. Again, screen tones to make it dramatic. And then gets him in the eye. So a lot of eye stuff. I noticed. Yeah. And then this is the page I'm working on. You know, so we're at the climax of the story here. So, all right, that's it. Wow, 25 minutes. Didn't expect it to take that long. Thanks for your attention. Appreciate your interest. So this summer, this book's going to come out. Not sure if I'll be publishing digitally first or second or how I'm going to do it, but this summer it's coming out for sure. So thank you. God bless. See you in the next one.